I guess it was the teleconference last week. You mentioned that, like, going into your last fight, you were looking back on it probably a little too emotionally attached. Just talk to me a little bit about how, this fight is different from that aspect. I mean, obviously there's not the animosity, but at the same time, is that something that you're consciously trying to keep out?
Yeah, trying to just separate emotion from a fight and a competition. It's much easier to do that with a guy that you don't really dislike or you have ill feelings toward. Anthony Johnson's a good guy. Anthony Johnson's okay with me. So for me, I'm going to compete against him. I'm not going to fight him. I'm not going to try and, with Jones, I wanted to fight too much. I was going to fight him anywhere. And it's better to have that just competitive feel to the fight. I love it.
All right. Well, now talk to me about how your training was different with that aspect.
It was great. I went in there with a clear conscience every day. I went in there to prepare. I went in there with a positive mind frame, knowing that I had a short period of time and wasting a day would be detrimental to my performance on that day in the gym and on fight night. So positive the entire time, going in there, working hard regardless of how tired I felt, just really grinding it out, getting after it, and trying to make sure that I was ready on a short 3-4 week training camp. And I feel like we got that accomplished. I think we worked extremely hard. We worked extremely smart leading into this fight.
All right. Now, you were already training, and I know we talked about this before, how you were sort of more focused on what you were going to do anyway, but just knowing that your fight was basically a couple weeks sooner, did that affect you in any way, shape, or form?
It didn't really affect me outside of the weight management. The weight management had to change a little bit. I try to stay as heavy as possible for as long as possible because I want to go back to that weight when I fight, on fight night. So if I pull myself down to 220 every morning, the most I'm going to gain over the course of 24 hours is 15 pounds. So I try to stay heavier and train at that weight that I'm going to fight at. So I had to rush it down a little bit to make sure that I was training around the weight that I'm going to fight.
Okay. Now, what's the hardest part of adjusting your weight? Because I know when you came down to New Orleans, you hadn't started the diet
I was
yet.
Big, too.
A little bit. I'm not gonna say that, but but just what's the hardest part of that?
Man, food changes. The food changes. Not as much salt and seasoning.
Which has got to be hard for you.
It's hard for me being up from Louisiana, growing up, but a lot less seasoning. I don't need the stuff that I enjoy, red beans and rice and gumbo and stuff. Need more chicken breasts.
Anything you can get out of Popeyes.
Anything I can get out of Popeyes is pretty much gone. I don't need that. It's good stuff. Good clean ingredients. Grass-fed stuff. A lot more vegetables. I'm not very, very big on vegetables, but when it's time to manage my weight, I start to eat it. And just drinking a lot of water. That's something I don't really enjoy all that much either, but I would love to have a couple Gatorades here and now, but you don't really have it. I usually drink water.
All right. And now talk to me, I guess, a little bit about the fight. You've known for a while now, but was there a point where it hit you that you were fighting for the title again? Sort of became a little more real?
The moment I got the call from those guys, I felt like something inside of me. My body started to move different. I could feel it in my fingers. I could feel it in my feet. It was more important to wake up in the morning and go run. It was more important to make sure I waited the 20-minute rule. There's a 20-minute rule when it comes to eating. When you're done, you'll feel like you can have more. You always can. You can eat a meal and you'll be like, I can still eat. But if you wait like 20 minutes, you'll notice you're pretty damn full. You didn't need to overeat in that moment. So I had to commit myself to the rule. I was like, man, this is for a championship. There are a lot of things that need to change. And that's what I did. But yeah, it hit me right away, man. I just had this feeling like everything started kind of tingling inside of me. Like, God, geez, man, I'm getting another opportunity at this.